Welcome back to Ryer on YouTube on a Tuesday night. We are live here on the channel. It is time once again for Cart Golf. I'm Travis Ryer, joined by my great friend Casey Smith. Casey, a former collegiate golf coach, very tied into the golf industry, professional golf, golf equipment, you name it. That is Casey. And so, Casey, we've got plenty to talk about on this Tuesday night. Unfortunately for Shane Lowry, it'll start with the events on the 16th tee at PGA National on Sunday evening. Boy, I thought in the aftermath of that collapse, good on Shane Lowry. He owned it. I don't know what else you could do when you lose your swing there on the 16th hole, the 70th hole of the golf tournament. You got a 3-shot lead. You're 6 under for the day, but it just goes to show it can happen to the very best of them.
Yeah, Shane Lowry. Sorry, I dropped my glasses as we were getting started.
That's all right. Yeah.
Shane Lowry, he's got to be reeling a little bit this week. He said it was going to be a tough one to swallow. He's up 3 with 3 to play. He loses by 2. He doubles 2 out of the last 3 holes. I don't know if you saw earlier in the round though. He hit a really weird tee shot, probably late front 9, to where they were clearing some water. He hits what would be like a top thin skank. And I thought about that later in the round as I'm watching. I'm like, that was the weirdest shot I've seen. He clears the water. He doesn't hit the hazard. Yeah. And he ends up surviving with a par on that hole. But that, as a golfer, when you have something like that happen, that's a lingering thing and that's what some of those balls look like, those couple of swings that he made coming down the stretch. So you just wonder if there's something in there that just set up ball position. It just takes one little thing. He obviously took his foot off the gas and just let it go. And he said he lost his swing a little bit.
What about the club selection there on 16T? What did you think of that?
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to have it all over, but having won there before, my guess is he's got a plan, and that's the plan he was going to stick with. I'm with you. I think there's some questionable. Look, if he just tees off with an iron the last 3 holes, makes a couple of pars,
3-shot lead. Over. Yeah, just hit it anywhere other than where he hit it on 16. Right.
And then when you have a guy in Echavarría that's he shoots 66 both rounds bogey free, so he didn't give anything back to him the last 2 rounds of the tournament, and open with a 63 for his 3rd win. I feel like he went and got it. I know Shane Lowry feels like he lost the tournament. I feel like you got to give the guy credit though for going and getting his 3rd win and really stay in the course. He could have fallen apart too. Like I said last week, I played there. When it's windy, that bear trap is a bear. It is a legitimate bear. And, I know the players are saying that softer, and you heard a lot of that rumbling as the week went on, that it's really not true Florida golf this time of year. It's overseeded, and they have made it softer. I don't know who that helps, but it was still tough for them coming down the stretch, as you can tell by Shane Lowry's scorecard.
Echavarría recently here of Duval. He was posted up in Ponte Vedra or Jack's Beach. Then we learned that he and his wife have purchased a home down there in the Palm Beach area. So this became a quick turnaround for him in terms of a pseudo home game for Nico. And you're right. When you shoot 66 on the weekend, not that I know anything about that, you don't have to apologize for anything. 63 he opened with in round 1. So a lot of excellent golf from the Colombian.
Yeah, find it funny, the round that he buys a home, he closes on a home after the Friday round, and he shoots 72, and he shot 63 to open and then 66. So like all of us that deal with normal things in life, I don't know if that got to him, or he didn't just have really would have had a runaway win. But yeah, bought a house in the area on Friday, and I'd heard he'd moved from Jacksonville, somewhere Ponte Vedra area,
Hmm.
and Colombian. So third win for him. He looks good to me. I mean, I don't. I see him continuing to win. Yes, it wasn't the strongest field in golf, but it was still, his game looks really good.
It does look good. And, look, an opportunity for Shane Lowry this week at Bay Hill, as we'll talk about the Arnold Palmer Invitational as we move throughout the program this evening. We got split field weekend too, signature event at Bay Hill, but then you got the Puerto Rico Open that we'll get into a little bit as well, because there's some storylines down there. You got a Daly down there in Puerto Rico. You got Blades down there. You got Miles Russell, Chikara, most recently of the Live Tour, going to play on the PGA Tour down there. So we got some stuff to talk about as we move forward. But wanted to get your thoughts on some of these guys as they wrap things up down there at the Cognizant. In addition to Shane Lowry and his performance down the stretch, what about Brooks Koepka? I thought that was a positive bounce back after that 74. The 74 on Friday, it felt like a sort of trunk slammer coming for Brooks, but then he goes 66, 69, 65, squeaks in there in the top 10 at T9.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what you're going to get from him on a regular tour week. I don't know if he's mentally back to where he used to be. He used to, at this time of year, leading up to the first major, he was sort of taking the Tiger and Phil approach. If they won something or played well, but he really hitting shots to work on getting himself ready to, play in a major. And I think he's probably now hitting the ball really, really well. And he found a putter. He made a putter change. Another
Spider.
spider, another
Yes.
spider.
Welcome
Uh,
aboard, Brooks. Glad to have you, my friend.
I told you it
He
will
gets a
be
little
like
better deal on his spider, though, Casey, than I get.
it will be if they keep if the guys who keep switching to the spiders continue this trend, you'll see them in half the bags on tour. They've got TaylorMade has to be the most
Yeah.
happy right now. I worked when I was at Callaway, I was around a couple of huge product launches that went nuts where they start getting backed up on materials, and it's wild to see all that, like the rush to go get it, and then they're trying to make them and trying to fill the orders. And
Was
you
the
know
two ball was the two ball Odyssey like that? I can't remember if
The
it.
two ball Odyssey was absolutely nuts, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
the number one
thought it
most
was.
sold putter in the history of golf.
Yeah.
And Dave Pelz had sold to Callaway the rights for that. That was his design.
Oh wow.
And he took an upfront. He almost took a per putter royalty, and he didn't. He took an upfront.
That'd have been
Uh,
like Jordan's. It'd have been like Michael Jordan's mom negotiating that deal with Nike.
that's
With
right.
Nike. Yeah.
He would, I mean, because you would still be getting it today, right? If he would have
Yeah.
taken that. He took a pretty good chunk of money, and it helped him, I think, with some stuff. But I was there when Epic Driver came out, and it was the most sold driver. Still, I think unit wise, it was wild to see that. Some of those type little niche products that just everyone, it's a copycat game. That's really what it is. Yeah, but to get back to Brooks, I feel like his game looks good. He's hitting that 5 yard fade. I noticed that he's not playing his Srixon driver anymore. That's in the bag. He's playing Srixon irons only. He switched to a Pro V1X ball. I guess
Mm.
I saw that for this past week. He's not playing this week because of eligibility reasons, but uh, I sort of thought we might see him just to play again down
Come
in
down to
Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he might just to try to keep some continuity, because if he was going to go to Puerto Rico, I would have said you could put some money on him at the Players. I don't know if we're going to see him inch up a little bit more. I don't know if the Players is it for him. I mean, he's won enough majors where he can win the Players, that's for sure. But that 5 yard fade was coming in there really good with the irons. That's a textbook thing for him. I watched enough to see that he's in position to. I mean, he looks like he's going to be a factor.
Absolutely. Pre
Nick Nick Dunlap was the other one I wanted to touch on
hit him.
from Cognizant. Man, I'm about ready to sound all the alarms. I would, if
Yeah.
I were them right now. in
Yeah.
his camp. He's off this week. He played in the Seminole.
He's not playing Puerto Rico? I thought he was playing Puerto Rico this week. He's not.
He's not, I don't think.
Okay.
Is he?
All right.
I don't think so.
I
I may
thought
have, I may have,
I've
I
got
may
him
have
as a
skimmed that.
I got him as a 10-20 on Thursday
Oh, well, that's good. He
down in
played
Puerto
in the
Rico.
he played in the Seminole Pro member yesterday, and actually they finished in the top 5. So that's really good for him. But I looked a little bit deeper, and his putting stats are really good enough to be, I mean, top 50 or whatever. His iron play, because when you're hitting it, it's really one club. It's a driver. He's got the
Yeah.
driver yips, but when you look at these stats and you dig in a little bit more, when you're hitting it so far offline, you're putting your irons play in a really bad position to and to really be successful at all. I mean, it's set up to fail, and he is still hitting his irons pretty good, right? It is a one club issue for him, which is a good thing. But
Yeah. It's not through
we
the bag. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, look, as recent as Matt
It's
Every
a
and
big one. Yeah.
Smiley Kaufman that are talking on the TV.
Michael Kim had the yips with the
Yeah,
driver, and he's found it now.
I mean, it's really tough thing, because you got to start. I mean, that's where you get your big numbers, is yips off the tee. But he's not hitting it as far either, which is a little weird. 171st, I think.
Mm.
177 total drive, 171st in driving distance. I mean, he's carrying at 286 or driving at 286 on average. I hit my 3-wood further than that.
Wow.
And so I'm a little bit surprised at what's going on. He's all world talent, and
Always been able to putt it pretty good, right?
he is, the where he was really elite is when he was a birdie machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so where we saw him win at Amex, benign conditions, goes on a heater, and it's just throwing darts. I mean, he gets it in the hole. I mean, his thing was getting it in playoff tee, and then he just hits laser iron shots, and then he can really putt. And I think if I'm them, with it being one club, them meaning his camp, it's time to change your I mean, this is how radical, or things that I think it's probably could be worked out easy. Length of shaft, weight of shaft, grip size. We're trying all that. Weight of club, swing weight. I mean, you have that. They've signed you from Ping and Adidas, Ping being your manufacturer. They will do whatever to get you right. Right? They've invested the money. I've seen that firsthand from the industry being there. They will build anything.
Mm-hmm.
I it seems like, what I gather from people, it's a little bit of the, I'm going to dig it out of the dirt. But
Mm-hmm.
if you wait too long, you're out of exemptions, and you're early enough in this year where you have starts throughout this year. You're only exempt through this year, and you got to go do something pretty radical right now, I think.
It's interesting you talk about this, because I saw Michael Kim, who we just talked about, having this same issue a few years back. And there's an LPGA player right now, and her name escapes me, so excuse me. I know she was an All-American at LSU, great LSU player, year or two now out on the LPGA Tour, apparently suffering from the same thing that Nick Dunlap is. And Michael Kim, who is, I'm sure you've seen, a very prolific tweeter, offered a suggestion just today about it. And he essentially said that his issue, anyway, was a swing issue. He said he had a swing issue that he had to go back and get to the grassroots level of, correct it, and then work on scar tissue and things like that after the fact. I mean, with all of the access that these players have to equipment around the clock, are you thinking maybe this is somehow something that they haven't gone to
I just don't know if
every
because
extent to try to fix?
I would think that based on some info that I've heard,
Yeah.
they're trying to fix what you just said, right? I think he had a little injury or whatever, and he may have tried to guard that, and then it just crept into driver yips, can't get it in play, and so then if I'm the person around, and some of that really will boost confidence. Hey, let's bring out 20 different drivers, 10 different drivers. Let's go try a
Mhm.
bunch of radical things and see if something else feels, when you start cutting, I've done a lot of this with when I was with Callaway, saw them, they can put rat glue in the heads, they can lengthen the shaft, shorten the shaft. Little stuff like that changes the whole thing. I mean, it changed your swing a little bit too, right? Heavier
Yeah.
club is easier to hit straighter, right? Shorter club, there was a thought there forever that a longer club would be faster. It's really not. Now they've learned that it's really not. You don't really gain a ton of speed by going longer. And so I just think when they've tried to fix the swing and it hasn't worked, and it's working in other parts of your game, you got to go do something else. And I hope they don't wait too long and then you have to go down to the KFT. He's won twice, so he's going to
Yeah.
have status, somewhere, but he wouldn't have near the status next year. He'll get into, a handful of events on the tour going forward because he's won twice.
Yeah. Pre-tournament picks as we reflect on the Cognizant. My guy, Keith Mitchell, with a T6, went 68, 73, 64, 68. When you talk about the overseed and everything else, it wasn't a scoreboard that was littered with 4 rounds in the 60s. I think when you look at it, Taylor Moore with the T2 with Lowry and Smotherman, he was one of those guys with 4 rounds in the 60s. Smotherman had 4 rounds in the 60s. Just about everybody else was going to have at least 1 round in the 70s. But who were some of the guys you liked going in? I think Lowry was one of those guys for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Lowry, and I even texted you about Echavarría,
Yeah, you did.
and then I said, not him, not going to be him. Um, but Lowry was the one I played in my pool, and I was really feeling good about that.
Yeah.
And those that event, I think, was probably anyone's game. I think we had our boy Patton Kazire came in he needed a nice
Tuscaloosa
run. He's
native.
starting doing
Yeah.
13th. Lee Hodges
Yeah.
40th. I thought that Blades Brown might have a good week. I thought Davis Riley might have a good week. Both missed the cut. Gordon Sargent missed another cut,
Good
which
week for
is
Joel Damon. And he's going to be
Joel
in
Damon,
the field at Bay Hill this week, right?
one of the best dudes, and who doesn't hit it very far either, but can really flat out score. I mean, he is truly that right there is a good comp. He is a poor man's Nick Dunlap. I mean, it's a really like a comp of, he gets a lot out of his game and can really score. And Dunlap can really score if he can get it in play.
Joel's going to be first out at the Arnold Palmer Invitational on Thursday, paired with
I don't know
Daniel
if you
Bennett, an
I don't
amateur.
I don't know if you ever heard that story about Joel Damon during the COVID breaking a course record with some guys, and there were like 8 guys playing. It was when White Claws were out. He drinks a bunch of White Claws. He looks up, he shoots 59, and he said, "We're just crushing White Claws." And I looked up and I'm like, I've had over 12 White Claws and I'm 13 under par,
Yeah.
So anyway, he goes in and wins, shoots 50. He's like, everybody starts going no hitter quiet, all of my friends. And I'm
Yeah.
like, guys, let's keep we're out here, we're festive. Let's keep the party going. He's
Yeah,
a good dude.
we thought Joel and Gino were going to be a pairing forever, but even marriages from that perspective out on the PGA Tour are tough to sustain. So as we look ahead to the Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard coming up this week, inch closer to the Players, just a week away. I'm getting the hell out of here for the Players, by the way. I'm headed out to Arizona. I'm going to let them have it here on the First Coast. But signature event, as we know. What do you think of this golf course, Bay Hill? I've never played it. I think it shows okay on the broadcast. Give us your scouting report of the golf course, and maybe even while you're at it, are we going to see the PGA Tour at PGA National next year?
I'll answer that one first. I don't think so, and I definitely don't think so if it past 27. They could be there in 27. They won't be
Cognizant.
they
Yeah.
won't be there in 28, the Cognizant. As far as Bay Hill, I talked to my buddy Michael Wiggins today. He's on the board at Bay Hill. He played baseball at Alabama. And just for gambling purposes, I wanted to know who and how the course was shaping up. He says rough's not as thick as it's been in the past. Greens are a little bit firmer. he felt like he said, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 won if the wind blew, but also, 10 or 11. He was like, it's usually one of those things where they start out pretty low early on in the week, and then pretty much they don't really gain a lot more ground. I think 11 won last year. But when the rough's not as long, he did say still gnarly. That, if you look at past events, like Henley won last year at -11, but when you really get down there, I mean, Scotty Scheffler was -4 with a slew of other people, and there's some big numbers there. I think there's probably some. This is sort of strange to say. I think there's probably on tour, the separation from great holes to bad holes, probably nowhere, more than there. There's some really weird holes there, but there's some really awesome holes there.
Yeah.
It's obviously produced. I mean, look, Tiger Woods. It speaks for itself. His record there. So it's Scotty Scheffler's won 2 of the last 4. Bryson won. There. I mean, it's produced really big.
Based
Rory's won
on
there.
based on just the broadcast, it gives Quail Hollow a Florida vibes. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a
what's
huge Quail Hollow guy either, but kind of
what's
gives me those vibes watching Bay Hill every year.
what's strange about it is when you're playing, it's also like coming up 18 on the left, you've got these shotgun houses sitting right
Yeah.
there, and then when you get to other parts of the course, you've got these big spreads. It's like a no rhyme or reason thing. I will tell you this: the first time I went there, I was I knew the golf pro there, went to college with him in the golf shop, and I was there with really on behalf of Callaway, and Mr. Palmer was alive and sponsored by Callaway. And he said, "Hey, y'all are with Callaway. Somebody wants to see you back here." And he acted like it was a GM. So he weaves us to the back, opens this door. This is like frosted glass door. And I thought we were getting close to potentially his office. There he sat. He
Wow.
had us in there for an hour, had a tea. He signed stuff the whole time. He had 2 guys in there opening packages. He would sign them, package it
Nonstop.
back, and they would, I mean, it was just nonstop. But vice grip hands. He had the pink sweater over. He hands us both my buddy and I, both a like raspberry lemonade tea. We
Yeah.
sit, we sit there and drink it.
Arnold
It,
Palmer.
it was
Yeah.
incredible. And then we played with his best friend Doc something, but it's I've played there 6 or 7 times. It's hard. It really is. I mean,
Is it a
it's a
big ballpark? Seems like a big ballpark.
huge.
Yeah.
It's all about what tee you play from. Of course, the morons that I was playing with that want to go all the way back and
Yeah,
see how
sure.
you can get your teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
I think the best I've shot there in those 6 rounds is like 74. Now we played it all the way back, so it's really
Tip it
tough.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's hard, and that's survive. I mean, if you shoot 74 from the tips there, it's a plus scoring number in your handicap. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think this week you'll see you got 5 champions in the field. You got Scotty's won twice. You got Day. You got Kurt Kitayama. You got Rory. Um, Scotty's the chalk at +300. Rory at +900. Probably the best value is Kurt Kitayama at +4,400. He finished second at Riviera and he won there in 23, 22, 23. And he, good player. That's a pretty high odds for someone that has won there, given that even Matt Every won there twice. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a horses for courses course. I would
Matt
say,
was Matt was kind of a Central Florida guy too, or is a central, or he's in Jacksonville now, but he was a Central Florida guy. I think Daytona Beach.
yeah,
And
he
you're
went to
right,
Florida.
two PGA Tour wins, and they were both at Bay Hill. Good one to win if you're going to win just twice. And yeah, University of Florida grad.
I heard him make a comment 2 days ago. He lives in your area.
Yeah.
And he was talking about where he and Billy play, but he didn't say the course being the
Glenn
best.
Kernan.
Okay, there
It's
you go.
probably Glenn Kernan. They just did a massive reno to Glenn Kernan. And so I think Horschel plays out there. If it's not,
It's TPC.
it's Pablo Creek, maybe. Pablo
said that
Creek is as exclusive as it really gets in this area,
he
and it's
said that
across the intercoastal from the players from the stadium course.
he said he was talking about the conditioning.
Yeah,
And I actually texted someone. I wanted to find out what he was talking
I've
about.
played Pablo Creek a couple of times, and it is again here locally. It's hard to top, and if it isn't, then it's Glen Kernan. I would think it's probably Pablo Creek
Well,
because it's
he
Pablo Creek is like a sanctuary. I mean, it really is. It's
and,
something else.
well, the reason why, not to get sidetracked, but the TPC, if you're have member in good standing or a past all that,
Yeah,
you get to
you get
play.
access. Yeah.
And I was wondering because he literally said, you can ask Billy, is what he was telling one of the other
Mhm.
riders. It is the best condition right now. He's like, there's nothing better than that. And I'm talking Augusta National. So wherever this place is that he's talking
It's
about
either
is,
Pablo or Glen Kernan. Cam Smith, he's local now too,
yeah,
in the area, the Australian, and he lost his access to the stadium club, the
that's
stadium
right.
course, because he went to live.
And he won the
So
players.
yes, and he won the players, and now he's at Glen Kernan down the street from where I sit, and so
Ah,
that's kind of where he's gone. Furyk's involved with Glen Kernan. Tebow lives out at Glen Kernan. Urban Meyer lived out there, so I'm guessing it's one of those two.
gotcha. That makes sense. Well, I think
Well, we got a viewer here chiming in. How about that? It says I work at Glen Kernan and I've seen Billy play it a few times recently, and I believe he just joined. I actually saw Rick Shields, the YouTuber of some note, YouTube golf of some
mhm.
note. He played Billy out at Glen Kernan. If you go on YouTube right now, you can find a match between Rick Shields. No, it's not. It's not. It's Rick Shields and Cam Smith at Glen Kernan, and then I think it's maybe Evan Thompson and Billy Horschel out at Glen Kernan. They've had some YouTube golf out at Glen Kernan here lately.
Well, I would. That's a good answer. Thanks for replying
Yeah,
there to us. I'm
Eggery
curious.
Peck. I like that handle, by the way. Very good.
I would say Justin Thomas making his debut for the
Yeah.
season this week is something to keep an eye on. I mean, he's played well Bermuda grass. Uh, I wouldn't expect him to win in his return. I mean, I hate picking the chalk, but how do you? It's really hard when the guy's won two out of the last four.
Yeah.
And I can only in one of these pools that I'm in pick one player, and that's it the first
That's it.
time. So I'm trying to you try to pick especially the signature events, but Rory seems like he's also chomping at the bits. And if you drive it, it really favors a long iron player. So whoever the best long iron player, mid to long iron player is for the week, usually is the one that wins because there's trouble everywhere. And you've got to hit these high long irons into these firmer greens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the recipe. Unless you get a great putter like Russell Henley or Kurt Kitayama,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Every said that I heard the story about when he won. He said he didn't know the putt was gonna, like stay straight, and he heard a guy in the crowd go, "It's gonna be straight, right?" And like
Yeah.
he plays it inside and he makes it. Tiger Woods was a different animal there. He made magic happen, but they haven't had a playoff there since 1999.
Whoa.
It's a long time.
I'm almost inclined to pick Shane Lowry this week, just based on craziness. I know. I mean, the Demons coming off of those last three holes, you're thinking, how do you do that? If he was a younger player, a less experienced player, I definitely would not even consider it. But it just seems almost too perfect that he bounces back this week.
I mean, he bogeyed the thing is hard for me to see.
Played good golf. I mean, he played
good
really
golf.
good golf.
And it really is two swings.
Played
And
nice for 69 holes, I guess you could say.
I don't know if he hits it high enough. He hits it lower. He can win anywhere. He's won a major. If they get, I think his game is favored. The reason why, like he's played well at Cognizant since they overseeded the fairways.
Yeah.
And that overseed is a lot like what he's grown up in Ireland, right? It's similar type deal. You get him around some rain, damp, and really overseeded turf, he's usually around the hunt, and but he's had 2 collapses now this year, so his game's in a good
Mhm.
place because he's could have really won 2 different times.
There's who you're picking and there's who you're pulling for. Okay.
That's right.
And they can be two, and they for me typically are. I love Ryan Fox. I'm a Foxy guy, so I would love to see him, pull it off this week in this field. But yeah, in terms of the favorites, I don't think there's any doubt about it. It starts obviously with Scotty and Rory, and I don't really like Colin Morikawa in this spot this week. I like Jake Knapp the way that he's played, but West Coast guy coming over here. I'm
I
a
mean,
little
I don't
bit
like
hesitant where that's concerned. Hideki, um,
Aubert hasn't shown me enough yet.
no,
But the reason why he's a top 10 favorite is because of the iron play thing.
yeah,
I mean, I would say I'm probably gonna pick Rory
hmm
this week over Scotty. And that way, it's plus 1,000, plus 900 to 1,000. So it would be a good play. I mean, I don't think Henley's going to repeat, and I don't think Justin Thomas is going to win. So
I'm going to
I
go
do.
Lowry. I'm going Lowry to win, man. I talked myself into it.
I actually tell you what, I'm going to go a little bit high. I'll go Tommy Fleetwood.
I like Tommy Fleetwood this week.
I actually think
I would.
Rory to win. Who I would pick just straight to win. I'm going to pick him
Mhm.
up pool too is Rory, but I actually could see Tommy Fleetwood winning. He's at plus 2,000. Good value there.
Yeah, I could go with that pick.
What's
If
Shane? What's
just
Shane
just
Lowry?
trying to get out of the obvious. I mean, you could pick Scotty every week,
Yeah,
and feel really good about it. So just beyond the obvious of Scotty and Rory, I think that's more what we're talking about right now. I'm not sure what Shane's number is this week, uh, going into Bay Hill, but I'm gonna
and I
go
don't.
with him.
And the whatever umpteen time champion Tiger Woods, not gonna play this week. But
Hmm
I don't know if you've been watching his physique grow or not, but he seems to just. I get it. I mean, you're sort of having to work more upper body because your lower body
Yeah, man, that's what I was gonna
is
say.
limited. But he
Yeah,
looks like he's
he's
got
jacked.
the V the V shape of all V shapes. The guy is jacked up
Yeah.
up top, and his legs. He can't do leg days. So
No, 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 no. None of that. None of that, obviously. So, what about Puerto Rico? We talked a little bit at the outset of the show, about some of the storylines this week. There are plenty. I mean, I'm all about the youth in an event like this, whether it's Blades Brown, whether it's Miles Russell, again, a local type of guy for me, the Florida State commitment. But there's a lot of guys in this field. Boy, you can find whatever you want. You want the wily veteran, you got Charlie Hoffman this week. He's in the field. Ryan Palmer in this field. Chesson Hadley in the field. I love it for that too, because I'm a golf hardo. I love Corn Ferry. I love the chain. I love all of it. So I get a feel of getting a little bit of three tours sometimes with the older guys, the younger guys. John Daly, the second, going to play in this field this week as an amateur. Where are you looking at down in Puerto Rico, Casey?
I really would say we got a bunch of Bama guys in the field too, and it's typically. I mean, if you go way back, I think it's for Spieth one to sort of catapult his career. You've
Mm-hmm.
had some guys, the now one down there.
Gordon
Uh,
Sargent's in there
Gor-
this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's friendly off the tee too. I mean, It's a friendly course. You can make a lot of birdies. I actually am going to go with Blades Brown to
Wow,
get
the
that
win.
first win because that would really get him in. That would
Mm-hmm.
be the promotion that he needed to go. I know he missed the cut this past week, but I was around someone today that's been around him and said he's been striping it.
Mm. Yeah,
He was around. My buddy was around. It was like Brady, Fleetwood, Tom Brady, Tommy Fleetwood, Blades Brown was at this event. They were down at Atlantic Fields and the new Discoveryland property at this big charity event. He was with like Mike Melvin, the guy that's over Discovery, and he was like, "Man, Blades Brown is legit. He's going to win on the PGA Tour." And when you hear people that I know that know golf like that, I'm like, uh, and I don't know. It's still really young. That's the only thing. How about yourself? Who are you going with?
You can get the big rig, Harry Higgs, at plus 10,000 this week if you want him down
Oh,
there. I'm going to go with someone like Bo Hostler. How about
that's a
that?
good pick. That's a good pick.
I'm going to go Bo Hostler down in Puerto Rico, former University of Texas standout. There's a lot of those kind of guys in this field, man. Cameron Champ.
I was
We
looking. Yeah,
we've
there's a
talked
bunch of
about Luke
guys.
Clanton, and what
I
is
tell you
really
what,
his ceiling on the PGA Tour.
Eugenio Chikara is going to be
Yeah,
my pick.
there you go.
That's my pick. I think he's really, really,
Your
really good at
live
golf.
guy. Yeah. I want all of these storylines, but I just get the feeling when it's all said and done, we're going to get a Matty Schmidt, or something, which is fine. A really, really good player. Won't surprise me. I want a William McGirt this week at plus
Great.
60,000, one of those wily old veterans. I can see Adam Hadwin this week. Decade plus on the PGA Tour, relegated to the Corn Ferry. That's a big opportunity for the Canadian too.
This is the Davis Riley week.
Mm-hmm.
He's very known. All of his success comes after a miscut. He's like the cat of all cats. It's unpredictable. You don't really know what's going to come. Davis Riley missed two cuts in a row and he wins, right?
Yeah.
But golf swing's built in a lab. He is really, really elite player from posture standpoint. Swing. You see like a Ben Martin that caught my eye in the field.
Yeah.
Guys like that. I don't think this tournament will survive either. Now that Tiger Woods is leading the charge and really what they're trying to do PGA Tour is for profit now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as that for profit continues to grow, they're going to. I hope they get away from this reduced field thing. I think that's not. Having a cut in golf is a big deal. I think people watch to see people make the cut. There used to be a big storyline of who was making the cut, and I would watch people on Friday that were close to the cut line. I hope they get back to that, but I think the PGA Tour could go do away with this event for sure, along with like Cognizant. You're going to see this, I think, next year. Some of this stuff change, and then it be more of a, 8-month calendar, probably 9-month calendar.
Yeah, I look at this field for the Puerto Rico Open and just I've talked about it here on the show in recent weeks. The Hate Invitational, the UNF tournament out at Sawgrass Country Club every year. Just in the last few years of going out to that event at Sawgrass, I've seen Neil Shipley in Ohio State. I've seen David Ford in North Carolina. I've seen Gordon Sargent. I believe I saw Gordon Sargent in Vanderbilt out there. But yeah, it's
for as much as we've talked about Nick Dunlap, truthfully, Gordon Sargent has had just as
saw Dunlap out
equally.
there a couple of years ago. Yeah.
That guy right there has all world talent, and
Mm-hmm.
it just shows how hard golf is, and that is why those two guys are prime examples of why I have zero, issue with those guys taking the live bag, because
Mm-hmm.
it is not. It's a sport that can be
This
gone.
this field kind of highlights that. It underscores it, doesn't it? Because you see Cam Champ playing him. He's not at Bay Hill, and he was a slam dunk. The
He made the
Patrick
tour championship.
Rogers, those guys that were all stamped with that can't miss sort of label coming in.
You got a lot of guys in this field who won a lot of money in golf.
Yeah.
And Cameron Champ made the
You
tour
got Brant
championship multiple.
Snedeker in this field. I love it with that pop stroke down in Puerto Rico.
I get it. Puerto Rico is one of the that you read. We do some business with some people there. It's on fire. They've
Been
gotten.
down there in the last few years. It had a good time right there where this event's being played.
Yeah, it's booming, and I know some guys who own a basketball team there, and that we do business with, and they were talking about what's coming there and the growth of the Puerto Rico, and they're hoping to keep this event and draw some bigger players to make it a real event. That's what they want to land on the calendar as Puerto Rico grows.
Standalone PGA Tour event. Yeah.
There's a huge class action lawsuit coming for the people of Puerto Rico, and that really could probably transcend the whole island, change the wealth of everyone there, because it's going to be enough for the residents from the
Wow.
oil companies to really, really, really see a significant impact. And that's what these guys are banking on, sort of a flip of Puerto Rico in the next few years. If they can hold on this event, they think they could get the money. They realize these guys are big players down there that I know from Knoxville, and one of they're based out there because of taxes. But
One of the
but
Haslams? I'm just messing with you.
but they his box is next door to the Haslam.
Yeah.
But they're like, look, you pull enough money together here for a prize pool, you can take any event and make it a new irrelevant event. I think that's
Mhm.
the sort of thing that's going on in pro golf.
Yeah. Speaking of, we talked a little bit, brushed over the Champions Tour. Zach Johnson, ready to make that debut.
Zach Johnson turning 50. I didn't
Guy
realize he
can
was
hit a
50.
wedge. You ought to make a ton of money out there too, right?
I would think he's about to clean up. I mean, that tour it's really made for someone who can hit it a long way,
Right.
and it's bomb and gouge, and there's not the rust's not as high, but it's also made for people who can get it in the hole,
Mhm.
and not as long, which will help him. He's obviously stayed in shape, but he can wedge and putt it as good as anyone.
Mhm.
I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him lately, but yeah, I would think that's someone that'll have an impact out there. And I mean, if you can't play on the PGA Tour, you don't have any, you don't have status, or I would think that he would still have some status based off of
Yeah.
what he's done.
Major
But he
champion.
maybe he sees a chance to go. Everybody, I think, also just wants these guys want to compete and win. They're competitors, and they have a chance to go beat some people that they've
And
known
and their
forever.
and their buddies are out there.
Yeah,
I mean, Zach
Stuart
Johnson's
Sink.
going to be out there with Stuart Sink. And Sink is just 10,000-pound gorilla out there right now.
Oh, I
And he
mean,
goes
he's in
back to
shape.
just driving it still 340 or whatever, however far Stewart hits it.
He's probably in that 305
Yeah.
range. So that's
Yeah.
that's long out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Rocco Mediate, who is uber competitive out there, and he doesn't carry his driver 250. I mean, it's 240, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Stuart Sink, he's got an advantage just because he's in shape. He plays here in Atlanta, where a bunch of my buddies play. He looks as good as he has in the last decade, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
just cashing checks out there. I'm sure old Bernard Longer is ready. He's like, man, I was going to win a bunch of records. You came out here, you guys coming out here. But it's at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think it's in South Florida, right?
Yeah, it's that event. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's down in South Florida this week. So keep an eye on Zach Johnson and that debut on the Champions Tour. Hey, Casey, you got anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
He got the Bay versus Jupiter tonight. We saw
Ah,
we
yes.
got Liv going to Hong Kong. I saw some of the guys having delays getting there that were
What'd
in
you think of
Dubai.
Rom's comments about why do I have to pay it back? Why do I
You
have to pay
know,
the fine?
he gave a very detailed answer, and it's basically, if you're the DP World Tour, your head is in the sand. If you go, he wants to play in 4 of our events. He wants to pay his fine. He just doesn't want to play in 6. So we're gonna not let him play in the Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
where he is the top, he's the first or second best player on our team. And all the other, I mean, you hear Rory going, pay the fines, pay the fines. And I mean, he and Terrell Hatton are not just going to go hand over the money. He's saying it's not a big deal, but he's obviously principled. And his idol is Sevi. Sevi also didn't play in a Ryder Cup because
Mm,
he was quarreling with the DP World Tour. This is where the same thing, I about said a bad word, Jay Monahan drove me insane, is if you have if you take a meeting with your competitor, anytime your competitor wants to meet with you, especially if you're a member in good standing, as Greg Norman was, like him or not, he's a jerk, but he was a member of the PGA Tour in good standing. You got to take the meeting and you avoid probably all of this, but you go line in the sand, no common sense, no thought of the fan, no thought of this, and then you get all of the results of what we got. And now the DP World Tour is, I mean, last week P. Reed finishes 30th in South Africa, and there's a host of live players in that event that were leading up to this event in Hong Kong. I would say the other two things are live Hong Kong. I can't wait to see what Anthony Kim does. I want to see if there's validation there. I'll actually tell you, I'll pick John Rahm. I think he's just due for a win, and I would say some of this stuff right here sets up for him to win. I do
Got
think Anthony.
time until it really matters, though, right? I mean, we still got time until the next Ryder Cup. So this almost feels a little bit like a stare down. I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
think he's probably telling them, look, guys, here's what I'm going to do. So when you
Right.
go have your next meeting, I'm
Yeah.
going to put this out there so Rory can come to the meeting and tell you guys what to do ultimately. And he's going to go, we're not going to play. What he's forcing them to do, I think, is those guys are going to go, hey, if you don't let him play, we're not going to play. All right, well, then what are we going to do? They're going to force their hand. They're going to let them, especially when you're saying, I want to pay the fines. You're saying that you want to play in 4 events. That's a lot. I mean, that's a good for them and their tour. And these were big events he was naming off. And the last thing I would say is, I don't know if you saw the Sabins and the Best and the Petros hosted the UA men's golf team. We're always talking about the life of Riley of the college golfers. They got to go spend a weekend in Jupiter, Florida, flew the PJ down there, the Bill Best PJ, and and then played and stayed with the Sabins.
Jay's good buddy. I
Yeah,
mean, Nick
Coach
Saban,
K, right?
Coach Sewell of Alabama. Him and Nick are thick as thieves from their time together in Tuscaloosa.
Those 3 families, prominent families, hosting the team. Not a bad deal if you're a player at Alabama. And the Alabama women's team, DFL again, not good. That's really, really not good. 2 bad weeks in a row. Men's team kicks off at the Hyatt this week. You're going to be leaving town, but
I might be
that's
able to catch a little bit of that before I skedaddle. You're more likely to catch me at the Haight at Sawgrass than you are to catch me at the damn Players.
just traffic, huh?
Yeah, just everything. I mean, it's a great event. Don't get me wrong. It's a great event on a 65-inch big screen. The
You
Players.
you are like me now around the Masters. It's
Yeah.
just better. It's a
I go to the Players. I
television
feel like
event.
I'm missing stuff, by being out there. Now, Friday at the Players, just in terms of the vibe and the hangout. Okay, I get that. Friday at the Players, yeah. Thursday,
I'm with
Saturday,
you.
Sunday, I'm on the couch.
I go my Masters day is Friday, Tuesday or Friday, Tuesday sort of sometimes and Friday. I'm not gonna leave otherwise. You miss way too much there. There's
Mhm.
not even television screens or anything else, or at least the players or some of that. And it's the same as the Ryder Cup. You go to a Ryder Cup
There's
and
Florida Georgia game vibes on Friday at the Players.
oh really?
Yeah, it's not waste management level, but it's a party, big time on Friday.
Before,
If you haven't done Friday at the Players, I would highly recommend that.
I need to do that, and I've
Yeah.
got one golf course to ask you about in your area. I heard about
Okay.
today. I got invited to play. It's called Long something on Amelia Island.
It's Long Point on Amelia
Good.
Island. Yes. Oak Marsh out there. I think it's an Omni property. I think both of them are. But yeah, Long Point has long been probably the one that you'd want to play out there. The Ritz has a golf course basically too, but yeah, yeah, definitely would recommend that. Oak Marsh just underwent a major renovation next door. It's a fun layout as well. Sure, absolutely. If you got that lined up, do it. Gotta
if I
do it.
can't, well, the good news
See,
is,
I get Long Cove and Long Point mixed up because Long Cove is where the Darius Rucker event is right now for the
just on
women's.
television.
Yeah, it's on Golf Channel today. Long Cove's on Hilton Head Island. it's Long Point up at Amelia.
You're right. And Long Point, and the good news is, got the invite today. I told them if I'm coming, I have someone I was gonna come do some film. The par 3 driver
Par
guy.
3 driver guy. I mean, we got to
come.
get him out there, man. I mean, you don't really know about a place until you get a couple of guys. Tiger, par 3 driver guy.
Well, and you've been getting some rounds in, I see. So that's
good. I've been getting some steps in. Put it that way.
I saw a birdie putt go in.
We did. That was nice. But yeah, man, that's an awesome area up there. I love Amelia, Fernandina Beach. I'd live
Never
up
been
there. Casey, you got to let me know when that's going to happen.
I will.
Even if I don't play, the daughter, I'm probably not supposed to say this, but the oldest daughter is getting married up at Amelia Island.
There you go.
That has,
congrats.
The save your date hadn't been sent out yet, but the deposit has been made. So I feel okay in announcing that. So yeah.
That's great. Well, money talks.
It better. Hey, Casey, man, always a lot of fun. And I look forward to this weekend of golf and doing this again real soon.
We got a big one, really golf season. I feel like commences
really
now.
Does.
And we got the players next week. So have a great rest of your week.
Yeah. You too, my man.
Thank you.
Look forward to catching up. I'm gonna probably I'll be in the Tucson area next week, but we'll still get this in.
Let me know.
Absolutely still get it in. All right, Casey. Sounds
Thanks,
good,
Travis.
my man. We'll catch up soon. There he goes. Casey Smith joining us as always right here on Cart Golf. I hope you enjoyed the program. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like for us as well. A thumbs up would help the show out tremendously. And until next time, so long, everybody.